On June 4th, the Bethesda Big Train left the station for the 2025 season. Very quickly into their journey, the locomotive was in need of repair. Bethesda started their 40-game season dropping 3 of their first 4 games. However, as June has given way to July, the locomotive has been full steam ahead and the Big Train Express has not stopped. Bethesda has won 13 of their last 14 games, including each of their last 10. The All-Star break has come and went, and the Big Train have already clinched a playoff berth at 21-6. But the focus now shifts to the divisional race. They sit 5 games ahead of the only crop dusters with 13 games to play. We welcome you inside the broadcast booth. My name is Quincy Bell. Alongside me is Eliab Brooks-Rubin. Eliab, today's opponent, the Southern Maryland Senators, a little bit of a different way they've gone about their season. They started the year 9-1. They now sit at just 14-11 coming out of the All-Star break. What do they need to do to take down a red-hot Big Train team?
Yeah, well, the struggle for Southern Maryland has been on the offensive side of the ball. They are averaging just 2.4 runs per game over their last 10 games, and that's been they are just 2-8. So if they can get the offense going, if they are capable of keeping up with any team in this league. The top 4 in this lineup are always in the top 4. They are a very good top 4. The problem is the bats behind them have struggled. They haven't been firing on all cylinders, that top half of the lineup, and the pitching has been good but not great. And with the offense ice cold right now, against a Big Train team that's pitching the best they have all year, it's going to be a struggle unless those bats can figure out a way against the Big Train's best pitcher.
Kide Adatui takes the mound for Bethesda. His numbers, you can see them right now, are absolutely sparkling. 5 games, 19 innings, and a .47 ERA. Scoreless innings in each of his last 17. We'll give you the lineups for both teams. As you mentioned, Eliav, the top 4 in this Southern Maryland order, all All-Stars. Tribble, Truck, Flores, and Krause have been absolutely magnificent this year. They will be followed by Serwick, Groen, Phillips. Jack Gagan makes his first start of the year for Southern Maryland, and Dawson Smale will round it out. The defense for Bethesda will be Skaronski, Peltier, Steele in the outfield from left to right. Pedette, Martinez, Corbin, Gonzalez on the infield from third to first, and Dylan Murphy will do the catching for his FAU teammate. First pitch is lined into left field off the bat of Logan Tribble, but ranging back to make the catch against the line is Peyton Steele for the first out.
Tribble being aggressive, a little bit of a different look for these Southern Maryland centers. The top 4, like I mentioned, Tribble, Truck, Flores, Krause are always the top 4 hitters in this lineup. However, usually it's Flores the leadoff and Tribble hitting third. The two have flip-flopped today. Logan Tribble, the more aggressive of the two. Nick Flores leads or is near the top of the league in walks.
So here's Adam Truck, who will work lefty on lefty against Kide Adatui. And for a guy that has an ERA under .5, he has been even better against left-handed hitters. Left-handed hitters only hitting 182 against Kide.
I mean, his stuff plays really well against both sides. That off-speed pitch, he loves to stick on the back door to righties, but against the lefties, it moves so far away from them and has such good action that it's been a struggle all year.
Came with the low slider against Truck. Fouled it away up the third base side. Truck, a very respectable hitter. The All-Star hitting .363 on the year with a .429 on base. Adatui gets him to chase a slider down and away, however.
Yeah, like I said, the slider just zooms outside. That one had almost 20 inches of horizontal run to it. And Truck sees a pitch that's kind of middle in, and it ends up low and away. And that is just gross. For a left-handed hitter, if you're not expecting that pitch, it's almost impossible to catch up to that. Here is Nick Flores playing shortstop today for Southern Maryland, as he normally does, takes a fastball low.
Dylan Murphy doing the catching for Kide Atatui. I got a chance to talk to Kide after his last start, and I asked him about Dylan Murphy, those two teammates at Florida Atlantic. I said, what's it like having a catcher that knows your stuff as well as you do? And he goes, it's great, man. I call whatever he tells me. I throw whatever he tells me to.
Yeah, this connection between the two has been something to behold this season. Murphy's caught all but one of Atatui's appearances, and the one was the lone run he allowed all the way back on June 6th, over a month ago.
1-1 to Flores. Fouled away.
Murphy doing the catching for the third straight game. Jacob Hawk out of the lineup again.
Hawk appeared to leave the last game with a wrist injury in warm-ups. He has not played since. Murphy was a late addition into that game. 1-2 the count on Nick Flores. Atatui set, kicks and fires. Chops slowly up to third base. Panette gloves it, throws on the run, not in time, and that ball hit the lip of the grass and bounced over the head of Gonzalez. So Flores will reach with 2 outs.
Yeah, very strange bounce. That ball kind of kicked straight up in the air. Usually you'll see it skim low to the ground, and Gonzalez was expecting that. That one just jumped way over his head.
So now another lefty steps in. It's Steven Krause. Also a part of the South Division All-Star team, hitting .277 on the year with 12 RBIs. Flores on first has some good speed. He's 11 for 12 on stolen base attempts this year. We'll see if he tries to put himself into scoring position. Atatui starts Krause off with a front hip slider, which catches the plate for strike 1.
Krause is 0 for his last 10, stretching back the last 3 games. So it's been a little bit of a struggle lately.
Atatui has Flores caught in a run now with a great inside move. Gonzalez with it. Flores staying alive for a while. Panette will put the tag on him and end the inning. Atatui faces the minimum in the first. We head to the bottom of the first. No score yet. We now give you a recap of the last time the Big Train were on the field.
It was an absolute thriller the last time the Big Train played here on Shirley Povich Field, a 6-5 victory over the Alexandria Aces by a walk-off in the most literal sense of the word. Things didn't start out so well for the Big Train, though. 3 runs scored by the Aces in the first couple innings, but starter Michael Davini calmed down through 5 innings, allowing just 1 earned run. Big Train still trailed for most of the game until here in the 8th when they finally tied it up.
Your team down by 1. The bases are loaded. The count is full. O'Brien comes home to Peltier. Swinging a ground ball to the left side. It gets through!
Big Train conceded a run in the top of the 9th, but no worries. In the bottom half, they scored 2, including this walk-off walk by Parker Corbin to give them their 10th win in a row.
Ball 4! Big Train win it! That's a Big Train winner! Blow the whistle, sound the horn, a walk-off for Bethesda, and that's 10 victories in a row for the men from Shirley Povich Field.
Bottom half of the first here from Shirley Povich Field. Big Train looked to bat, but they will have to deal with another all-star pitcher. It's the left-hander Vincent Luther, who takes the mound for the Senators. 13 2/3 innings pitched for him and a 2.63 ERA.
Yeah, Luther has allowed just 4 runs and no more than 2 in any of his 3 starts. He, like Atatui, has not pitched in a while. Luther's last outing, though, all the way back on June 27th, almost 2 weeks ago.
First pitch to Peltier. Slider at the knees for strike one. Into a slow windup for the 0-1. Fouled away by Peltier.
A tall left-hander with a slow delivery. He worked 36 and a third innings, started 9 games for Binghamton.
Peltier hitting .368 at the All-Star break. Looking for a fast start in the first game of the second half. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Luther drops a changeup below the zone that Peltier waves at.
Really good start to the day for Vincent Luther. Attacks low in the zone with the fastball, two-seam fastball, and then just drops the changeup out the bottom and fools Peltier.
Here is Brennan Wright. Coming into this game, has been hammering left-handed pitching from the same side. Brennan Wright, 16 for 33 on the year. Shows a bunt, pulls it back. Pitch was in the dirt for ball 1.
Really interesting. If you watch Luther go through his delivery, when he's working from the windup, after that first step, he will pause and take a deep breath before going to his second motion.
1-0. Wright takes a slider right down the middle for strike 1. Wright has played in 25 of the Big Train's first 27 games and has reached base in every single one, by far the longest on-base streak in the Cal Ripken League. Takes a fastball outside for ball 2.
He's also working on an 8-game hit streak, which is 2 short of Emilio Gonzalez, who capped off at 10, and that's the longest in the Cal Ripken League this year.
2-1 grounded over to first. Kraus able to field cleanly and step on the bag for out number 2. So here's Josh Skoronsky, and you'll be hard-pressed to find a hitter in the Cal Ripken League who's been as hot as him. 3 home runs, including 2 last week in the same game against the Metro South County Braves. First pitch from Vincent Luther, swing and a miss, drops the slider at 72 miles an hour, down and away. Gets a swing and a miss from Skoronsky. Oh, 1. Another slider, this one misses away. Luther has sort of a jerky motion with the left arm and comes from a very low slot. Something that can be pretty difficult for same-handed hitters.
Yeah, that ball is coming from behind the back hip of these hitters, and they have to pick it up crossing the body a long way, which is really tough, especially when that slider adds 10 to 20 inches of horizontal movement.
3 straight sliders from Luther. Skoronsky has swung and missed at 2 of them. We'll see if he goes back to the well at 1 and 2. He does, but another one misses down and away to Skoronsky.
Yeah, Luther yet to throw a pitch in the zone to Skoronsky, but he's fooled him twice with that slider that just keeps darting away and away and away. Skoronsky picks it up there. We'll see if Luther changes up the pitch.
2-2. Luther into the extended windup. Skoronsky on a ground ball, foul. That time he went with the fastball at the knees. And Skoronsky still ahead of the fastball. Got to imagine that's what he's sitting on and trying to react to any sliders away. 2-2 from Vincent Luther. Misses down and away with the fastball, and the count runs full on the Winthrop Eagle, Josh Skoronsky. Luther set at the belt. Southern Maryland put a 2-out runner on. Could not cash in. Skoronsky looking for a better result and takes down and away for ball 4.
Good at bat by Skoronsky. He got fooled on 2 of the first 3 pitches, but then was able to pick up the slider and spit on it a couple of times, and at the same time still stay on the fastball enough to foul it away. That is a hitter making adjustments, and that's what you want to see, especially with a guy like that who is so tough to hit as a lefty.
So here is Emilio Gonzalez. He swings with the perch pitch and lines one up the middle. This ball will land just in front of the outfielders. Going to third is Skoronsky. The throw will meet him there, and he's out. Both the Senators and Big Train with base running mistakes to end the first. No score after one here from Shirley Povich. Top of the second here from Shirley Povich. It'll be 4, 5, and 6 due up for Southern Maryland. Kraus, Surowick, and Carter Groen. Stephen Kraus was at the bat last inning when Nick Flores got picked off after a 2-out error from Logan Panett. He reached, but Adetuyi, with a nice move over to first, caught him frozen. Stayed in the rundown for a while, but eventually the Big Train defense able to run him down. First pitch from Adetuyi is fouled away by Kraus.
Adetuyi going back to the slider again. And he threw it about 7 times on 9 pitches in that first inning. And so far he's thrown 10 pitches, 9 for strikes.
A 1 from Adetuyi misses down and away.
Time went to the changeup, which he doesn't go to all too often, but just not able to locate in the zone.
1-1 from Adetuyi. Lined up the middle and through for a base hit. Stephen Kraus goes lefty on lefty against Adetuyi and has a leadoff single.
A good piece of hitting, just sees a fastball, runs into his barrel in the inner half, and he's able to stay through it after seeing so many sliders out of his hand in the first inning, and one again on the first at-bat of the second. On the first pitch of the second inning, he does a really good job to stay on it.
Here is Danny Surowick, another lefty in this Southern Maryland lineup. Takes a slider from Adetuyi for a strike.
Surowick's 4 for his last 8, so he's starting to get hot because before that, he was 0 for 17 over the previous 6 games.
A 1 from Adetuyi. Swing and a miss below the zone. Surowick goes fishing.
And if there's someone who's going to spark this lineup that has just really scuffled lately, it is going to be Surowick. The top 4 have produced at a little bit lower than their league average rates, but still good rates. It's got to be this bottom half of the lineups, Surowick and down, have to start hitting for these Senators to reach the potential that they showed early in the year.
0-2 from Kide, lined into left field. And making the catch is Skoronsky. Had to go to 2 knees, but slides down, makes the grab, and holds Kraus at first.
Nice play from Josh Skoronsky. A little bit of a late read on that. That one sinking and right at him. Really, the toughest play you have to make as an outfielder, especially a corner outfielder, is a ball that's hit right at you and low. Skoronsky does a really nice job to just approach, and then picks it up and is able to go down onto his knees for the catch.
And Skoronski benefiting a little bit from his 6'5" frame on that one, needing every inch to reach out and get that ball. Here's Carter Groen. He lines the first pitch foul against the netting. Groen has some pop in his bat, 2 home runs on the year, but hitting just 161 coming into this game.
He's been stuck on that 2 home run number for about 3 weeks now. So
healthy lead at first from Kraus. Added to it, delivers ground ball over to second, right to Martin. He'll step on the bag, now throws to first. Not in time to get Groen. I thought he was going to tap the bag. I thought he was going to flip to short and then throw over to first. But decided to go himself and just not in time to get Groen at first.
Corbin was about 2 steps behind second base and just shaded off to the right. And I think the idea there was correct. It was just maybe a step slow and miscommunication with Martinez.
MJ Phillips takes an outside fastball for strike 1. 2 out and a runner on first for Adetuyi. Groen 4 for 6 on stolen bases this year. Lined into center field off the bat of MJ Phillips. Peltier with a great beat on it and makes the catch in right center for the 3rd out. We head to the bottom of the 2nd. No score yet from Shirley Povich. Bottom of the 2nd, set to start from Shirley Povich Field, and we have a very, very special guest in the booth with us. Please welcome from Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, the one, the only Tim Kirkshin. Tim, you are from Bethesda, Maryland. You started working at ESPN in 1998, and in 1999, a team was founded in your hometown. What does that mean to you?
Well, this is like the coolest thing for me because I grew up at this field as a kid. When I was really young, a little leaguer, I played on the Little League fields here, and at night I would come watch the Industrial League players play on this field. I learned how to play baseball in this ballpark right here. And then when I got old enough, I moved up to the big field. I umpired games on this place, so this was my second home as a kid. And to see that there is a field here named after a sports writer and named after the high school that I went to, nothing's better than that.
While we were talking, Logan Panett, first pitch swinging, lines one through into left field for a base hit. He's a guy that started the year off incredibly hot, 3 home runs in the first 4 games, but has slowed down as of late. But in the last couple of games has been picking it up. Timmy's been doing a lot of first pitch swinging, attacking early in counts.
Well, I just love watching these kids play. And the people at home and the people listening need to understand that These guys are better than 99% of the people who've ever tried to play this diabolically difficult game. When you're good enough to play at a major college like all these kids are, that is really, really impressive. And some of these kids are going to play in the big leagues because, I just talked to Hunter Brown the other day, and his days at the Big Train were like some of the best days of his life. Hunter Renfroe, same thing. And all these big leaguers, all 25 of them, I probably met every one of them who's played for the Big Train along the way. It's just so cool to know that, we're going to be watching these kids at age 19, 18, 20, and someday they're going to play. Some of them are going to play in the big leagues. It's really, really cool.
Well, today they were giving out team baseball cards of all the players on the Big Train. Might be a good time to pick some of those up if you're a card collector. 2-2 the count on Peyton Steele, coming out of the University of Alabama. Made the All-Star team, hitting .278 on the year with 21 RBIs. Only person ahead of him in the league for RBIs is the guy on first, Logan Panette, with 27. He dives back in after a pickoff attempt from Vincent Luther. Luther set, looks at Panette at first, now comes to Steele, popped up high in the air into deep right. Ranging back is Groen, but this ball will get out of play and into the Southern Maryland bullpen. Now, Tim, I know that you're from here, and I know that you love coming here. Is there a favorite moment that you have from since the Big Train have been founded or in your time coming here?
Well, every year is special because I get to talk to the players and I get to see the look on the faces of the players who have the exact same look, every one of them. I want to play professionally. I want to play in the big leagues.
Steele on a line into the corner. Panette's off to the races. He will stop at third. Steele into second with a no-out double in the Big Train in business in the bottom of the second with two in scoring position and nobody out.
Yeah, again, the look on their face is just unmistakable because I remember this when we were this age, like how much we all wanted to move up in this game, as difficult as it was. So that's always my favorite part. And when I go somewhere and there's a player, who's, Josh Altman or somebody like that who played here, and then I get to talk to him about how special it was, those are the kind of moments that really matter to me when guys say, yeah, you came and spoke to us one night, and I remember what you said. That's pretty cool.
Martinez over to third. This ball's again down the line. One run is in. Steele will be waved around. He will also score. Martinez into second. He will stop there with a double. The Big Train up 2-0. And for a guy like John Martinez, who has been struggling a lot as of late, that's a big hit to get out of a slump for him. This is the first game he has played since he got ejected his last time out against the DC Grays. Had to serve a one-game suspension, and Tim, his first at-bat back, an RBI double down the line.
Wow, that's so wonderful. Boy, you are really up on things. I'm very impressed. Plus, all the stuff you got in front of you, pitch speed, everything else, didn't have that when I was growing up, that's for sure.
There's a lot of people here that really do a great job that help me out with my broadcasts. First pitch to Parker Corbin as a front hip slider over the plate for a strike. Most notably the pitch speeds. Our director of analytics, Addiston Gordon, does a great job setting everything up and maintaining everything, because nowadays analytics are such a big part of the game. All these pitchers, they want to know how fast they're throwing. They want to know their spin rates because everything has gotten so advanced in the pitching department. Corbin takes down and away, and the ball gets to the backstop. Martinez will move up to third. But the Big Train are a team that does like to play old school as well, Tim. They do a lot of bunting, a lot of small ball. They can manufacture a run when they need to.
Well, no surprise with Sal as the manager. He is an old school guy, even though he's only 52 years old. He loves the way the game is supposed to be played.
1-1 on a ground to first, fielded by Kraus. His only play is to go to first. Martinez has to hold at third.
And if I may, we just don't play enough small ball in the big leagues these days. The guys are encouraged, it's demanded that they swing as hard as they can and try to hit it as far as they can. As a pitcher, they encourage, their demand is to throw as hard as they can on every pitch and then spin a curveball as fast as they can. And sometimes the game really comes down to, can you get a bunt down? Can you hit the cutoff man? Do you run the bases properly?
First pitch to Dylan Murphy, a backdoor slider for strike one. And I do agree that small ball is sort of a lost art in baseball. Sometimes you see teams, of course, now in Major League Baseball, extra inning starts with a runner on second. Not a lot of teams are trying to bunt that guy over to third anymore.
Yeah, and in part because we no longer value the bunt, and then with the ball being put in play so seldom these days that if you do bunt a guy over and the next guy strikes out, you've then lost 2 outs and you got a runner at third with 2 outs. But I'm a big believer, get him over, get him in, and that's pretty hard to do these days.
0-2, Murphy chops one to short. The only play for Flores is at first. Martinez crosses, and the Big Train have put up 3 runs in the second. And another analytical thing that's been more of a trend lately is you see infields playing in a lot. With 1 out, every single member of the Southern Maryland infield playing on the cut of the grass, trying to cut down Martinez at third. But that ball from Murphy, a really high chopper, only play for Flores at first.
And that's happening in the big leagues, too. They just, with such weak contact because we have such dominant pitching, bring your infield in and don't let them score a cheap run.
Well, speaking of the bunt, Alex Peltier shows but pulls it back. Pitch outside for ball 1. Peltier and Brennan Wright, the top 2 in this order, really love to bunt. Even with nobody on, they'll try to lay a bunt down the third base line and beat out a throw to first. Brett Ott also a very big bunter. He's not in the starting lineup today. Peltier takes a fastball at the knees for a strike.
You know, back when I used to watch the games here in the summer as a 7-year-old, they would play the Industrial League in this ballpark, and it was breathtaking to watch.
Luther just outside to Peltier. He's ahead in the count 2-1.
And the Industrial League was a bunch of former college players, current college players, former pro players, big league players played here. That's where I really, really learned how to play the game, watching the older guys play in this ballpark.
Swing and a miss. Peltier goes fishing at a slider below the zone. But there's so many more baseball teams now in every single level. Seems like almost every town in America has a collegiate summer team or an independent team or a minor league team, to where you don't necessarily have to follow an MLB team. A lot of people have a team right in their backyard.
Well, the more the merrier. The more you play, the better you get. It's a hard game to play.
2-2. Peltier lines one just foul down the third base line. Of course, the team closest to me back home in Northwest Indiana, the Gary Railcats.
Right.
They're in an MLB affiliate league. They're in the American Association.
Right. Well, things have changed so much with minor league baseball and collegiate summer leagues and everything else. But baseball is baseball, played at any level. It's great.
2-2. Peltier takes a curveball just outside. And Tim, the Big Train have done a great job of scoring runs with 2 outs this season. Of course, they already have 3 home in the inning, but it almost feels like no inning is ever over with this team.
Well, 2-out hits are a great thing to have for any team.
Payoff pitch, and Peltier takes low. And it's at bats like that, just nobody on 2 outs, grinding out a walk to just keep the inning going, because eventually the big hit will come. Brennan Wright now steps in, and he is currently in the midst of a 25-game on-base streak, Tim. Every single game that he's played, he's reached on base. He has some of the most superb on-base skills I think I've ever seen at any level.
Well, that is so valued on the major league level. You got to be able to get on base. You got to be able to draw a walk. You can't get yourself out. Plate discipline is so important in the big leagues these days, especially with the dominant pitching we've seen. If you're just up there hacking at anything, you're not going to make it in today's day and age, because the pitching is just too good. You swing it at ball 1 and you're already behind the count against Paul Skeens. Good luck.
1-0, Wright takes outside. That, as well as situational hitting, knowing when to take your hacks and knowing when to choke up and poke a base hit through somewhere. And with Luther starting to lose control a little bit, he'll have a talk with Jack Gagan, his catcher. Gagan making his first start on the year today. Tim, if you're the catcher here making your first start, what are you telling to the pitcher in this spot?
You got to tell him just to settle down, This kid's been pitching his whole life, I'm sure, but when you haven't pitched all year, you're going to get a little bit amped up about things. You're going to start to overthrow, and he's just out there to tell him to calm down. You know how to do this. You've been doing this for years. Just settle down, calm down, throw strikes.
Peltier at first has a lot of speed, 18 stolen bases. Luther comes to the plate just outside to Brennan Wright. The count is 3-0.
And that's at least 6 balls in a row, and it happens when you struggle. It's a hard game to play. When you get in a bad spite on the pitching mound, you have trouble throwing it over.
Wright takes a 3-0 pitch at the knees for strike one. He's 1 ball away from making the on-base streak 26. He'll see another pitch from Vincent Luther. Lined up the middle. Diving stop by Flores, but it just squeaks out of his mitt and into center field. Peltier will stay at second. And there it is, 26 straight games with a on base for Brennan Wright.
The Major League record, by the way, is 85 consecutive games by Ted Williams.
That is something you would know,
well,
and that I wouldn't know.
Just absorb that for a second. 85 straight games, Ted Williams reached base safely. That's impossible to believe, but it's true.
Well, infamously, Joe DiMaggio has the longest hitting streak at 56 games.
All right, and as long as I live, we're never going to see anybody hitting 56 straight games again.
Here is Skoronsky. He lines one down the line and right, but this ball lands just foul. Yeah, averages across the major leagues have gone down considerably with the improvement of pitching. You got guys rearing back and throwing 102 on any given night.
Yeah, the Brewers played a game the other night starting Jacob Mizorowski, and the average fastball velocity in that game by all the Brewers pitchers combined was 99.1 miles an hour. That's ridiculous. Not just Mizorowski, it was the relievers also.
A 1 from Luther, down and away to Skoronsky. As a Cubs fan myself, I'm not too excited about having those two young flamethrowers in the same division.
Well, the Cubs could do something about it because that team can really hit. Now, it's hard to hit in the big leagues these days, but the Cubs are one of the few teams that scores runs pretty handily here and there.
Getting back to the high velocity from pitchers, I remember Johan Duran threw a 100-mile-an-hour splitter, and it was the first ever off-speed pitch recorded at triple digits. Really says a lot. 1-2, Skoronsky high in the air, deep into right. Ranging back is Groen. This ball lands just out of play into the Senators' bullpen again.
Yeah, I saw Johan Duran pitch one night in Houston a couple of years ago, and it was frightening how hard he was throwing. And Jeff Blum, who's a broadcaster for the Astros, who was a good major league hitter in his time, he looked at me after the game and he said, "I'm so glad I'm retired because I don't have to face that." That's what happens when you throw an off-speed pitch over 100 miles an hour.
1-2 from Vincent Luther. Skoronsky rung up at a pitch at the knees for strike 3, but the big train pushed across 3 runs on 4 hits. Tim, thank you so much. It has been an absolute pleasure.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, and keep up the great work. You're really good at this.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Eliav Brooks-Rubin now in the booth and still joined by Tim Kirkchin. Tim, thank you again so much for doing this, for joining us.
My pleasure. I'm so proud of you guys for getting behind a microphone like this and doing play-by-play at such a young age. Every day you do this, you'll get better. You're really good right now, but you'll look back at your tapes 5 years from now and you'll see how much better you get just by doing more and more games.
I have to say, I've noticed even looking at my tapes just for the summer as Atatui throws strike one, just how much different it looks.
Right. If you want to be a good shortstop, you got to take a lot of ground balls. If you want to be a good broadcaster, you got to do as many games as you can.
Here's Jack Gagin, who's making his season debut today in Game 28 and starts it up with a grounder up the middle. It's going to be a tough play for Corbin. Throw is offline. And a leadoff single for Jack Gagin. Well, Tim, I was talking to a couple of people downstairs who know you, and they gave me two questions to ask you. So first, I was told to ask, what's your favorite quote from interviewing Eddie Murray?
Well, I know who told you that. That's Mark Hyman. Mark Hyman runs the Povich Center at the University of Maryland, and Mark and I covered the Orioles together. Eddie's favorite words were, "Not today, Timmy, not today." He brushed me aside a bunch of times. Now, I've since gotten along with him very well, but he didn't like talking to the press back then.
That's understandable. I've gotten that reaction before once or twice.
It happens. You learn to deal with it.
Yeah. Dawson Smale steps in, playing second base today for the Senators, hitting just .231 on the year, but with an on-base above .450. He's walked 15 times in 21 games. And ahead in the count 2-1. And then the other thing I was told to prompt you on is talking about the runner on second in extra innings.
Look, this is unnecessary that we put a ghost runner at second base to start the 10th inning of a tie game. We played the game exceptionally well for 150 years, and why we need to speed it up like this, especially since we've taken so much out of the time of game with the pitch clock. I just think we should play until somebody wins the game, and we don't need anything artificial to help the process along.
Well, I have to say, I am in the same boat as you. I fully agree. I'm coming around to the pitch clock. I was first an anti-pitch clock guy, just as a very much like I want to sit back and watch baseball the way that, it's been played for, like you said, 150 years. And a huge strike three call right on the corner. A perfect pitch from Atatui. That's the second strikeout of the game for the lefty.
Well, I was anti-pitch clock, but the more and more people in the game think the games are better, crisper, move faster, and anytime we can take dead time out of the game. We have Josh Beckett, great pitcher, by the way, on Sunday Night Baseball a few years ago. 54 seconds in between pitches, we got him once. And another one, 59 seconds in between pitches.
That is insane. Yeah, so I've come around on the pitch clock, but I'm still when you go to extra innings, it should be the same as the first 9. But
I'm very much in the minority on this. Most people think it's great. I don't, and I never will.
I'm with you. This one lined sharply but foul. Lineup turns over to Logan Tribble, who led off with a sharp liner into right field that was caught on the run by Steele. What's your, what have you been broadcasting for 25 years or so now?
I've been at ESPN for 28 years.
28.
So I've joined the television ranks when I was 40 years old, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. I wasn't planning on doing this, but just by happenstance. So as you young guys, just keep your eyes open. There's no telling what might come along. You can build a second career out of it.
Ground ball to third. This could be 2. Panette to second. Corbin to first. Not in time. Good running by Tribble down the line to avoid an inning-ending double play, but there will be 2 away in the third.
And every time I watch one of these games, I'm just really impressed with how good the players are, and they should be. They're playing in college, and I spoke to both teams before the game, and I really think it's important that these guys realize that they're better than 99% of the people who have ever tried to play this game. You're a college baseball player, you're pretty darn good, and they should never forget that.
And these guys on both teams, but especially the Big Train side, I mean, you're looking at they're 21-6. I mean, their Big Train is putting guys in the majors that were alums almost on a yearly basis at this point.
And I just love that when I run into Hunter Renfro, Hunter Brown, all these guys who, Josh Altman, who played for the Big Train, and I carry on a conversation with them because it's really important to them. They don't forget any of this. They all say, make sure you tell Bruce I said hello, because it was a memorable summer, and I just love it that they live with, families in the neighborhood, and they work at camps during the day, play baseball at night. It's just fabulous.
Yeah, it's been a big part of why I've loved working for Big Train. We had our host family appreciation night a couple weeks ago. That was fun.
Right.
I got to talk to some of the players just about what they do with their families and how their life is
Right.
different living with strangers who adopt you as a kid for the summer.
And those friendships usually last for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. 2-0 pitch. Atatui elects to go to first, not fooling Tribble. This has been a much quicker half inning so far than the last one you had. But
we had Fernando Tatis Jr.
line drive into center, pushing Peltier back, but he makes the catch pretty easily. That'll do it. One runner left on a hit. And a strikeout for Atatui, his second. We go to the bottom of the third. Tim, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. You're doing a great job. Keep it up.
It's back to me and Quincy in the booth.
I know you guys are very disappointed.
No more Tim Kirkchin, although that was one of the coolest experiences of my broadcasting career.
Yeah, that was really cool to broadcast with someone that's on Sunday Night Baseball almost every night.
This one flared into foul territory right over the batting cages. Emilio Gonzalez to the plate after the Big Train plated 3 in the bottom of the second in a little bit of a twist because of the Kirkchin interview. I'll be doing the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and then Quincy will take over for the back 4. 0-1, grounder to first, pushing back Kraus. He has to make a spin and throw to Luther, who steps on the bag in time, beats Gonzalez by half a step.
Great job by Luther to get over there and beat Gonzalez to the bag. That was a close race, but won by the pitcher.
One quickly away. Strong sign for Luther after allowing the first 3 men to reach, including back-to-back doubles in the second. Logan Panett, who led off that inning with a single, came around to score an at-bat later. Grounds one to third. Tough play, but a nice scoop by Surowick and in time.
Good job reaching into the hole by Surowick, able to get a glove on that. Reaching down, he extended part of his reach. Nice pick and a throw.
Now Peyton Steele, who picked up his 10th double of the season last time up, the first Cal Ripken League hitter into double-digit doubles.
I say that 5 times fast.
I'm not sure I can. I could try, but I don't want to embarrass myself, so I'll move on. He outpaced, or beat out Matt Wesley. The two had been both stuck at 9 for about 4 or 5 games. But Steele back on the board with a double, and more importantly, back on the board with an RBI and a run scored, which he had gone quiet in producing runs after that had been his main strength early in the season.
I don't know if quiet's the right word. The streak was broken, but not too long ago against the Crop Dusters, he broke that game open with a 3-run home run, his first home run.
It's true. However, coming into today, he was just 2 of 21 in July. Steele goes down swinging, a very quick 1-2-3 inning. And the Senators will come to bat chasing 3 in the top of the 4th. Tui has been his usual impeccable self so far. He has pitched 3 innings, allowed just 2 hits, and a runner has not gotten past first base yet. He'll take on the heart of the order, Nick Flores, Kraus, and then Surowick.
Flores reached on an air back in the first, but was later picked off by Adetuyi, who was caught in a lot of runners leaning today, although that was the first guy he actually got.
Quickly ahead 0-2. Adetuyi nods his assent. Now stares in. 0-2 pitch. Fouled directly back towards the screen.
Flores has some speed. Has done a lot of leadoff hitting for the Senators this year. Hitting out of the 3-hole today, but leading off this inning might be the perfect guy to maybe spark a rally for Southern Maryland as they chase 3 runs.
Flores, 11 for 12 stolen bases on the year. He's also hitting .308. However, just 167 in his last 8 games. 0-2 pitch bounced into the chest plate of Murphy. Adetuyi's thrown just 39 pitches thus far. He's already completed 3 innings. He's thrown about 75% strikes. His 1-2 offering, fly ball into right. Steele was in, now goes back, and he's camped under it for out number 1.
The first 4 for Southern Maryland, the 4 All-Stars, of course, Krause coming up now as the last of those 4 in the order. But of those 4, so far they've had 7 at-bats, and they're just 1 for 7.
One hit was Steven Krause, who led off the top of the second with a single. He was able to sit on a fastball from Atatui after seeing a couple of sliders.
But aside from Bethesda, who have all-star hitters all throughout the order, in fact, 5 of them, or 6 of them in the lineup today, the top of the Southern Maryland order is one of the most potent stretches you'll see in the entire league, and Atatui has handled them with no problems.
And you look at the top of this order, it's also one of the most consistent tops of the order you'll see. The top 3, Flores, Truck, and Tribble, have all played in 24 of the 25 games. Krause has played in 20 out of 25. And nearly every day, the 4 are going to be hitting in the top 4 in the order. So this is a consistent top line. A Big Train, for as good as all of their hitters have been, there's been some fluctuation in the 3 spot, the 4 spot, and the 5 spot at times. The top 2 have been pretty solidified as Peltier and Wright.
Well, Skoronsky was hitting as low as 8th in the lineup for a while, but since he's been getting hot as of late, moved all the way up to 3rd today. Gonzalez, a lot of his time has been spent hitting cleanup. After that, take your pick about who's going to punish you today. That's just how deep this lineup is.
That ignores, Logan Panett was the cleanup hitter for about 12 games, and then Gonzalez really picked it up, and Panett started to fall off. Now Panett, who had dropped to the 8th spot at one point, back up to 5. He's been a little hotter as of late. It's really, you never know what you're going to get, and that's almost a more dangerous situation for a lineup is with the centers. You know you have to be careful at the top as the payoff pitch from Atatui is ball 4. So across the board for the second time. You know you have to be careful with the top 4, but once you get through that, you feel pretty comfortable facing the bottom 5, whatever combination of 5 guys they put in the lineup. But the Big Train, 1 through 9, they're going to tear you apart in one way or another. 1 aboard and 1 out for Danny Surowick, another guy they really need to get going. Check swing and a strike. First walk issued today by Atatui.
And when Atatui throws over to first, he flirts with going towards the plate and then throwing to first. Has gotten his fair share of runners picked off this year, but flirts a hard line between that and a balk. Knows how to do it well, though.
Yeah, fooled Flores in the first inning, able to pick him off. Hasn't been called for a balk yet this year. So he's kind of got that move mastered.
It just shows you how good he is at controlling the very few runners that get on against him.
0-2 to Surowick. Atatui home. Liner just foul by about a foot.
Yeah, that ball just slicing and slicing down the left field line and just landing about a foot foul.
If that gets down in fair territory, that's going to roll for a while. Skoronsky pretty far off the line, and that ball hit very hard. That ball probably rolling either all the way into the corner or maybe kicks off unexpectedly and ends up in the field of play. Certainly extra bases, maybe enough to score Krause. Instead, just a foul ball, and the count's still 0-2. Atatui's offering. Just high.
.50 pitches now for Atatui in the 4th. Pretty strong pace. He worked 6 innings his last start.
The 1-2 skips to Murphy, and count evens at 2. Atatui's last 2 starts have been his best 2. 2-2 pitch, wave and a miss. Danny Surowick goes down swinging, the 3rd strikeout of the game for Atatui.
If you're talking about how Atatui has improved, this is his 6th appearance, but in his first 5, the first appearance, 3 innings of middle relief against Silver Spring, gave up 1 run in those 3 innings. And then 1 clean inning against Olney on the 12th, 4 shutout innings against Gaithersburg and a start. His last 3 appearances have been starts. Against Olney, he shut down a save, but 4 shutout against Gaithersburg, 5 shutout against Soko, and 6 shutout against Silver Spring.
Laced in a center field by Carter Groen, but Peltier, who covers immaculate ground out there, runs it down easily. A quick inning with just a 1-out walk, the only more on the line of attitude. He was through 4 scoreless. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Vincent Luther back out for a 4th inning of work. He looked very good in the 3rd. Looked pretty good in the 1st, just struggled mightily in the 2nd. That was 3 runs scored in the 2nd inning, were the most, or have totaled the most that he's allowed in any appearance this season. And Martinez, who got him for a double just over the 3rd baseman Serwick's head, bats here. 7, 8, 9 in the order. Martinez, Corbin, and Murphy. Slow slider at just 69 miles an hour gets a swing and a miss from Martinez.
We were talking about this, or I was talking about this with Tim. A double for Martinez, his last at-bat, breaking out of what was a pretty big slump. He's hitting only .228 this year, but a 2 RBI double in his first at-bat since being ejected, and there's another hit.
And this time goes the other way for a single. Martinez, 2 hits to start his day.
Yeah, but this is a guy who you got to keep in the lineup for his great defense at short. Hit over 280 at Florida Atlantic in pretty extended playing time, played over 50 games there. Has come to Bethesda, and it's just not been the season I think he wanted. But if he gets hot, he's a guy that could really take this Big Train lineup to even higher heights than they have been so far.
I mean, Martinez was a commit to Florida. He redshirted there, then went to FAU and was one of the better players. Doubled 14 times, drove in 30, and like you said, hit 284. And he started the season fairly strong. Opened on a 6-game hit streak, had hits in 12 of his first 15, but he's just 1 for his last 21 in the 6 games since.
Yeah, and his last time out got ejected for calling balls and strikes and comes back 2 hits in his first 2 at-bats.
Yeah, so maybe
shows a lot of resilience from Martinez.
The ejection, the day off, might be what he needs to turn it around a little bit. Parker Corbin, who leads the team in walks, has worked another 3-ball count. He is hitless in his last 6 games, but in that span, he has a .458 on base. He's walked 10 times, swinging away 3-0. You never see Corbin do that. He rarely likes to swing at all.
Yeah, the average just sits at 167, but the on base is at 413. A guy that loves to walk more than anyone on this team, and even had a walk-off walk last time against Alexandria.
Swings at the 3-1 and pops it up into center. Coming on and making the easy catch is Truck. 0 for 2 start to Corbin's day. Now Dylan Murphy, who grounded out to third but picked up an RBI his first time up, will bat.
Yeah, hit a high chopper with the Southern Maryland infield playing in. And no play for Flores other than to just go to first.
Murphy scuffling a little bit. He is hitless in his last 4 games. He's 0 for 12 with 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. This one, though, through the left side, and finally a base hit for Dylan Murphy. His first in his last 5, and there's 2 aboard with 1 out.
Yeah, he had been getting the nod over Hawk and had been hitting a lot better than Hawk. But since that got that call up, like you said, no hits in the last 5, but an RBI in his first at-bat and a nice little ground ball with eyes in his second at-bat.
Hit it hard, 93 off the bat. The swings have looked pretty good for Murphy. It's just been a struggle to get him to land. This time, able to get one to go through the left side. And the lineup turns over to the ever-dangerous Alex Peltier, who takes a slider for strike 1.
And with Atatui on the mound, probably 1 to 2 innings left in his tank, it's going to be hard enough to scrap across runs against him. Southern Maryland, crucial that they get out of this inning without any more damage. And it'll be tough with the top of the lineup now up.
And you look at the back end of this bullpen. I mean, we're only in the 4th inning, but projecting the rest of this game, Big Train have had their game on Tuesday was rained out, and the All-Star game yesterday was rained out, which means their 2 best high-leverage guys, Stewart and Gladden, who both were scheduled to pitch in yesterday's All-Star game, are now both working on a minimum of 2 days rest. That's Gladden, Stewart working on 3 days rest. So they're both available. And that never spells kind for an opposing team.
Yeah, the back end of the Big Train bullpen have been terrific this year. So many saves. In fact, their last 4, or they had one stretch where they had saves in 5 of their last wins. The back end of the bullpen has been great. In the games they've struggled, it's been the middle of the bullpen.
Peltier just able to get a piece to stay alive. Yeah, the middle of the bullpen has been a little bit suspect, but even that's getting better. I mean, Cole Ketchum has kind of solidified himself as a good long reliever as this rotation has taken shape. Ketchum sits at just a 2.76 ERA. He's been very good.
I think we're nitpicking a bit too. Like, it's really hard to find complaints with a team that's 21-6.
Yeah, there's not much to complain about. I mean, yeah, you look at like the walks in the middle innings have been
like the only
a weak
thing
spot
you can really think of.
And maybe offense in the early innings, but today Big Train picked up 3. And a lot of the offense in the early innings, this was something I was mulling on today when looking at the numbers. The way the sun sets in right center field makes it really hard to hit, especially off of lefties. Peltier goes down swinging the second out of the inning. And so it's a little unsurprising. The Big Train, their offensive numbers perk up as the game goes on.
Well, yeah, the numbers back that up too. We're in the 4th inning, which is when the sun about goes beneath the trees at Shirley Povich. Big Train runs by inning. 21 runs they've scored in the first inning, 33 in the second, 28 in the third, and then 41 in the 4th inning. I think that claim has some evidence to back it up.
Yeah, and you look at the 6th inning at 34, that's their second highest scoring inning. And then the 8th and the 9th are in last, but that's because we've played so many double headers without 8th or 9th innings.
But 34 runs in the 6th as well.
Yeah, I mean, and the Big Train, you can, I think, ignore the 8th and the 9th in terms of, when their offense is produced because they play so few, or they've played so many doubleheaders. The 7th, to an extent as well, because they've been winning on the home half of a lot of doubleheaders and just not had to bat in the 7th. You look at the first 6 innings, and 3 of their 4 highest scorest innings are the 4th, 5th, and 6th, compared to the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd where it's just a little harder to see with that sun blazing bright. And you guys can see it on the broadcast in those first few innings. It's always a little tough to see where the ball is.
And getting back to the 8th and 9th, though, yeah, the Big Train don't have that many runs scored, but in the 8th, they're outscoring teams 20-4. Just shows you how good the back end of that pen has been.
The Big Train have a positive run differential in every single inning this season. 2-0 pitch, way outside. Brendan Wright, who has already extended his on-base streak with a single in the second, is 1 pitch away from a walk. Counts 3-0. Luther's offering. Right down central for strike 1. The 3-1 misses way outside, and the bases are loaded for the powerful Josh Skoronsky.
And once again, this lineup is just relentless, and a pressure at bat, 2 out, bases loaded for Skoronsky, but he could really put a stranglehold on this game with a big hit.
He will have to do so against a new pitcher. Vincent Luther's day looks to be finished. There is a pitcher waiting in the Southern Maryland bullpen. They haven't made the call yet, but the pitcher is standing at the dugout, the bullpen door. Luther having a discussion with his head coach. But one way or another, someone's going to have to get this final out, and it's a big one. Josh Skoronsky has been swinging such a good bat lately, and the Big Train cannot be allowed to open up a big lead, or it's going to be impossible to come back from. So it'll be Luther. A little bit of a surprising move. There's a reliever with the bullpen door open. Chose not to go out there. So Vincent Luther, who walked Skoronsky in the first and struck him out in the second, will be tasked with retiring him again in the fourth. Skoronsky has struggled versus lefties, hitting just .226 with 3 extra base hits. That's right-handed pitching. For comparison, he's .354, twice as many extra base hits, and an OPS over 1,000. That pitch nearly hit Skoronsky, a slider that just did not move the way Luther wanted it to.
Yeah, slipped out of his hand a little bit, missed to the arm side. But that's the pitch he's going to have to locate against Skoronsky, is that front hit breaking ball.
He's gotten Skoronsky to swing and miss a number of times tonight at it. But his first 2 offerings, one a slider, one a fastball, neither are close. Nowhere to put Josh Skoronsky. Luther's 2-0 pitch finds the corner of the zone for strike 1.
Yeah, 2-1. Don't want to miss high to Skoronsky. Most of the times where he's hit things hard, it's been when pitches have been left up in the zone. Got to make sure you leave things down against him.
2-1. Luther puts it down and away for strike 2. Very similar spot to the last pitch.
And that's where he's going to have to live. That pitch coming from a side-arming left-hander, that pitch in particular is going to be just so hard to hit. So Luther, I'd imagine he goes back to the well against Skoronsky.
Back-to-back fastballs on the outside corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pitch is in the dirt. Good job by Gagin to block. Jack Gagin behind the dish, playing in his first game for the Southern Maryland Senators. He's looked comfortable back there. Nothing's gotten by him so far. He also has a hit in his only at-bat. Full count, 2 outs, bases loaded. Vincent Luther to Josh Skoronsky. Bounce foul.
That time coming down and in to Skoronsky, but the MO is clear. Do not miss high to him.
Everything at the bottom of the zone right now, and it's all been fastballs. Different than the first at-bat, which was mostly sliders. 7th pitch of the at-bat. Home to Skoronsky. Ball 4, an RBI walk for the 3-hitter in the Big Train lineup. Great
Discipline there from Skoronsky, a guy known for his slugging, but a .437 on base as well. Just a long at-bat. Wins the battle against the side-arming lefty, and looks like that's going to be it for Vincent Luther.
So the Senators elect to keep Luther out to face Skoronsky. He walks in a run, and now his day is done. 3 2/3 innings worked, 4 runs allowed, and 3 more that he's responsible for. His relief is going to have to deal with the cleanup hitter, Emilio Gonzalez. A tough task to be sure when we come back on the Big Train Baseball Network. Michael Walsh, the reliever in charge of getting Emilio Gonzalez. He is a lefty to take on the lefty Gonzalez. He's worked in 7 games, tossed 12 1/3 innings, so we'll likely see him beyond just this one out.
Yeah, I didn't hate the decision to keep Luther out to face Skoronsky with the bases loaded. He did strike out Skoronsky once, but that was just such a terrific at-bat from him.
First pitch from Walsh, who is much more of an over-the-top delivery than Luther. Goes fastball high. Gonzalez hits lefties as well as he does righties. So the platoon advantage, not much of one here, but a good first strike from Walsh.
Yeah, Gonzalez has just been hitting everyone in this league. It's no other way around. You can mention the splits all you want. No matter who's on the mound, he's going to be a tough out.
He has just 1 RBI in his last 7 games and takes a slider just out.
Man, that's a take from Gonzalez. A foot of horizontal break on that pitch right on the corner, but just outside. That's a major league take there from Gonzalez.
Well, Gonzalez swings a major league bat. Ahead in the count, 2-1. Ball 3 in the dirt, and now Walsh in danger of walking home another run. Gonzalez is a patient hitter. He's walked more than he struck out this season. 3-1 pitch. Fouled back. Gonzalez was hacking away. That was a fastball right in the heart of the zone, and he just misses it.
Yeah, I wouldn't throw that again to Gonzalez. But full count. Can't walk in another run here if you're Southern Maryland. Walsh got to put something on the plate.
Full count pitch. Ball 4, another run's walked in. The 5th run of the game.
Yeah, 3 straight walks. It's been a theme throughout this season. The big trade can hit, but walks are the quickest way to derail a game against them.
Logan Panett to bat. He has really struggled against left-handed pitching. Does have a hit today, but coming into today, just 125 on the year, just 4 for 32 against lefties. Panett has been a slug machine for the Big Train, He cooled down for a little, but has picked his bat back up, swings through a strike. He is tied for second in the league in homers with 3. He's tied for third in extra base hits with 9. He's 7th in slug, and he leads the league by a wide margin in RBIs. 1-1 offering. Bounced up the middle. Second baseman Smale will go to first. Logan Panette's retired, but the Big Train plate 2 on bases loaded walks. They lead it 5-0. We go to the 5th. More Kide Atatui when we come back. Atatui's worked 4 scoreless. Now he's got plenty of run support, and he will take on the bottom of the Senators lineup, Phillips, Gagin, and Smale.
Yeah, if he gets through a 1-2-3 inning here, could be well on his way to another great outing. You don't really want any of these bottom 3 to get on with the top of the order looming. And then if you want to pull him after the 5th, you could justify it by saying we want a new guy to face the top of the order, but a lot of options.
Grounder to short. Martinez plays it on the second hop, throw to first in time. Owl to owl from Martinez to Gonzalez. Atatui, though, just sits at 55 pitches, so plenty left in the tank. I imagine they'll put him back out for at least a 6th, assuming he stays efficient to finish this inning.
Yeah, I thought he had thrown more pitches than that, but you're right. He's been pretty efficient. So, yeah, I guess it's really likely that he takes over the 6th, maybe even the 7th.
First offering to Gagin is a strike. Gagin grounded one up the middle for an infield single. That was his first at-bat of the season, the Tuscaloosa College product out of Ashburn, Virginia.
What's their mascot, Ilyav?
It is the Pioneers. And
he says after reading it off
his jersey. He is a rising senior.
There's a lot more colonial-style names on the East Coast as opposed to the Midwest where I live.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of Pioneers and Quakers and Revolutionaries, things like that. And even the Colonials at Robert Morris. Used to be GW, now they're the Revolutionaries. Recent rebrand for George Washington University.
Now, Eliab, can you name the most recent school to change their mascot?
Let me think about that. 2-2 pitch is bounced foul. Most recent school to change their mascot. It's not GW, because I know they just rebranded about 2 years ago.
Oh, I have no idea. That just seemed like something you would know.
I think it probably has to be GW, because they just changed their name in 2020 to the 2022-2023 school year. Valparaiso was a couple years before that, where they changed to the Beacons.
That's from my neck of the woods.
2-2 pitch is high.
Valparaiso High School is in our conference for football. That's actually the closest D1 school to where I live.
Huh.
In Northwest Indiana, shout out region.
Well, while Quincy does some impromptu research, Atatui has a full count to the catcher, Gajan, and misses for ball 4. So the catcher making his debut has been aboard twice. Dawson Smale now steps in the box.
You were right. It is George Washington changing from the Colonials to the Revolutionaries.
Yeah, I know that because they were undergoing the name change while I went to school at School Without Walls, which is on their campus. So there was a lot of things, names getting torn down or like signs getting torn down or repurposed and whatnot. And I didn't remember of anything going on in the last year. And that was just 2 years ago that they made the name change. So I figured that was going to be the right answer.
Well, I'm staying at George Washington for the summer. They've been gracious enough to house me.
Grounder to second. Corbin, backhand to short. Martinez a rocket over to first, but not in time. Logan Tribble, for the second time today, narrowly beats out a double play ball.
But getting back to this, I was staying at George Washington. I got a call from Eliav. He goes, "Hey, I'm walking up to your dorm. Come downstairs." I go, "Okay." I come downstairs. He's like, "I got a really big surprise for you." And so we start walking. He goes, "Here it is." And it was School Without Walls, which we had a lengthy discussion about the School Without Walls. But it was a lot closer to where I'm staying than I thought.
To correct myself, that was Dawson Smale, not Logan Tribble. So Smale stands on first, Tribble at the plate now.
Man, Atatui, another close play at first. He has that pickoff move working today.
Yeah, he has picked off one, nearly picked off a couple more. And goes back to first and almost gets Smale again.
I always hated, as someone back in my playing days who really liked to steal bases, it was always really annoying when left-handed pitchers would kind of keep the leg up and you didn't know if they were going to go to first or to the plate.
Atatui goes to the plate here. Nails the outside corner for strike one. Logan Tribble 0 for 2. This one lined sharply, but a leaping grab by Parker Corbin does it for the fifth. Atatui's thrown just 66 pitches. He's through 5 scoreless with a little help from his second baseman. We'll take a look at the Cal Ripken League standings when we go to break here on Big Train Baseball Network.
The Bethesda Big Train have a big lead atop the North Division and indeed atop the Cal Ripken Collegiate Baseball League. They sit at 21-6, 5 games ahead of the only crop that's been playing some solid ball of late. The same cannot be said for the Silver Spring Tacoma Thunderbolts, who have dropped 8 in a row and are now down to 12-14, 8.5 games out of the playoffs, and opening up a real possibility for the Gaithersburg Giants to chase them down. Down in the South Division, things are a whole lot closer. The top 3 teams all within a game and a half of each other, and that all-important bye to the second round. The Metro SoCo Braves look to be pretty well out of it down there, however.
Peyton Steele to lead off the 5th against Michael Walsh. Walsh was able to get out of the 4th inning, but not before walking home a run. So Vincent Luther finishes his day 3.2 innings, 5 earned runs, 7 hits, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. And now Peyton Steele will bat for the 3rd time. He has an RBI double in the 2nd and a strikeout to end the 3rd.
Yeah, Luther just struggling a little bit too much with walks in his outing. 7 hits as well, but near the end, it was really the walks that kind of led to his demise.
Yeah, Luther walked the bases loaded, or gave up 2 hits, walked right to load the bases, then walked a run home. And then a Walsh walk of Gonzalez pushed across run number 2 of the 4th inning. One and 2 the count. Walsh delivers. Grounder to short. Flores makes the play. Throw over is a little high, but easily handled by Kraus.
Flores, not the greatest defender over there at short. 7 errors he has on the season, but a nice smooth play there.
John Martinez to bat. He's 2 for 2. He's had himself a nice bounce-back day after being ejected in his most recent appearance. Flares one the other direction, but trailing foul and out of play.
And did not play the next game. I think I heard correctly that if you do get ejected in the Caribbean League, it is a 1-game suspension.
Yeah, that was something I kind of assumed when he wasn't in the lineup, but didn't want to speculate, so glad you confirmed that. Back in the lineup today, manning shortstop effectively as usual and having a good day at the dish. 2 for 2. He's got an RBI and he's scored twice. Oh, 2 pitch. Misses high. Martinez down swinging for out number 2.
And a good start to the inning for Walsh. Took over duties for Luther with the bases loaded, gave up 1 run, not on his line, but 2 quick outs to start this 5th, keeping Southern Maryland alive in this one.
Southern Maryland has scored just 24 runs total in their last 10 games. That's 2.4 per game. 6 times in that span, they've scored exactly 1 run. They've yet to score more than 6 in their last 10. They have 6, 5, 4, 3, and 6 times at 1. They need at least 6 to win this game. And that is not accounting for any runs the Big Train tack on the rest of the way. So the offense is going to have to spark something out of nothing, especially against a guy like Kide Atatui and how great he's been. 1-1 to Corbin. Misses away. Corbin still looking for that first base hit in July. Takes a 2-1 on the outside corner for strike 2. Two outs to the second baseman, Parker Corbin. Home is Walsh, and on the outside corner, punches out Parker Corbin for strike 3. 1, 2, 3 go the Big Train. That'll do it for the 5th. Quincy will take over the rest of the way. Big Train still lead 5-0.
Key day at Atui's day is done. 5 innings pitched, only 2 hits allowed, no runs, 3 strikeouts. He has now thrown 22 consecutive scoreless innings. The new pitcher on the mound is James Beasley, a 6'7" freshman out of Princeton, making his first appearance for the Big Train this year. He was a late addition to the team at the end of June, and this is his first time on a mound wearing the green and white.
Hey, been around for about a week. Has not pitched yet. He worked 12 1/3 innings at Princeton, struggled, allowed 23 earned runs in that span.
He is coming in with a 5-0 lead, but he's getting thrown into the fire. 2, 3, and 4 due up for Southern Maryland. Truck, Flores, and Krause, 3 All-Stars he will have to face. Got a swing and a miss on the first pitch against Truck, and a second swing and a miss on a fastball at 90 miles an hour. A plus fastball for Beasley. Did not pitch a lot in his first year at Princeton. 0-2. 92 miles an hour, but Truck takes high.
Yeah, fastball, fastball, fastball to start Beasley's day. And already you can see the speed that is granted by his height, all 3 clocking in above 90.
1-2 from Beasley to Truck. Just misses low and away.
That looks like a changeup out of the hand, 85 miles an hour. It's that changeup with a lot of dip, probably like more of a circle change, almost 18 inches, of run horizontally.
2-2. Truck takes in the dirt. Fastball just yanked a little bit by Beasley. Count runs full on Adam Truck. 0 for 2 today with a fly out to center field and a strikeout. Beasley coming reset on the mound, looks in for the sign from Dylan Murphy. Now set. The payoff. High in the air on the infield. Parker Corbin settles under it and makes the catch for the first out. Beasley at Princeton in his freshman year, 12 1/3 innings pitched. Gave up 23 earned runs. Good for a 16.7 ERA. Not the greatest freshman campaign, but retires an All-Star in his first Big Train appearance. He's another All-Star to deal with now in Nick Flores. Fastball right down Broadway for strike 1.
Fastball with a lot of cheese so far, 90 plus, and he's getting about 1.5 foot of vertical run on it. Just fooling these hitters just a little bit, and the reason that Truck was so far under that pop-up.
0-1. Slider misses inside. And Beasley is a guy that has great stuff but has struggled with the walk a little bit. On February 22nd, gave up 8 runs and walked 4 against Miami. His most recent appearance, 3 innings of 3-run ball against Dartmouth on March 22nd. So a guy that hasn't pitched in a while, but has some great stuff. As a freshman, I'm sure he'll only improve throughout his career in the Ivy League. 1-2 to Nick Flores. Misses high.
That goes to that fastball well above the zone. See if he's setting up a curveball or a slider here.
2-2. Beasley is set at the belt. Kicks and delivers. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Ramps the fastball up near 90 miles an hour and gets Flores swinging.
Yeah, instead of going to the off-speed pitch to play off that high fastball, just goes to a slightly lower high fastball and still beats Flores to the spot at the top of the zone.
So 2 All-Stars and 2 outs for Beasley. We'll see if he can get the 1-2-3 inning against the 3rd All-Star, Stephen Krause. First pitch, fastball on the inner half for strike 1.
So far, he's located that fastball exceptionally well.
A good sign for the lanky right-hander. 0-1 to Krause. Driven deep in the air out towards right field. Going back is Steele. And he makes the catch, reaching up with the backhand. Some impressive reach there from Peyton Steele. James Beasley, a 1-2-3 inning in his big train debut as we head to the bottom of the 6th. 5-0 train. Nine 1 and 2 due up for Bethesda. Dylan Murphy, Alex Peltier, and Brennan Wright as they look to add on to their 5-0 lead in the bottom half of the 6th. Michael Walsh out for his second full inning of work, his first full inning of work. Eliapa 1-2-3 inning with 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, looked really sharp. Punched out Parker Corbin looking. After walking the first batter, that he came in a tough spot and a tough hitter to facing Gonzalez. He's retired the last 4 and has looked sharp doing so.
Relieved starter Vincent Luther in the 4th. Walked in a run, but then induced a ground out. He now works in the 6th. Murphy high in the air, down the line and right. This ball will land just foul out of the reach of Krause and Groen, the first baseman and right fielder. tracking that ball. 0-2 quickly the count on Dylan Murphy.
And Murphy had some success against Southern Maryland. He's only played in one of the 3 games that these two teams have played, but went 2 for 3, drove in 3 runs, scored 2 of his own, also walked.
Walsh taps the foot a couple times, now deals to Murphy, and he's rung up on an outside fastball. Beautiful located pitch from Walsh. He's now retired 5 in a row and 3 straight strikeouts.
Yeah, back-to-back looking strikeouts, and Dylan Murphy, really tough person to strike out. That's only his 5th of the entire season. Really good job by Michael Walsh in relief.
Kide Atatui, the starter for the Big Train, is out of the game. James Beasley just pitched a 1-2-3 inning, but you got to feel that if Southern Maryland can keep this at 5, the game not completely out of reach.
No, but like I said before, their offense just has not had it working over the last 2 weeks, and they are going to have to show something they haven't shown since all the way back around June 25th. Last time they've really put together an offensive performance worth mentioning, an 8-2 win.
0-1, Peltier shows bunt, pops it up and into the net for strike 1.
Alex Peltier, pair of Ks today. He is has 24 now on the season. That leads the team.
The Big Train, 7 strikeouts as a team today in the 6th. Pretty uncharacteristic of them. They don't strike out a ton.
No, fewest amount of strikeouts of any team in the Cal Ripken League.
1-1, Peltier swings and misses at a changeup from Walsh. Senators pitching as well, not known for striking out too many batters. They sit at 6th out of 8 in the Cal Ripken League with 190 strikeouts coming into this game. The Big Train striking out the least in the Cal Ripken League at just 160 strikeouts. 1-2. Peltier takes down and in.
I mean, 160 in 27 games, that's about 6 a game. So, Big Train are already over their season average with still 4 innings to play.
2-2 from Michael Walsh. Peltier takes strike 3 at the knees. 4 straight strikeouts for Walsh. And there's 2 down in the 6th. 3 consecutive looking strikeouts as well, Eliav.
Yeah, and he's just dotting up corners. That time goes to the fastball at 85 and just locates it perfectly. A couple of defensive substitutions to mention. Nick Flores out of the game at short. In is Cale Vincent. And in left, out is Tribble.
And a pinch hitter at the plate. Matthew Wesley will hit for Brennan Wright. Takes the first pitch at the letters for strike 1. Wright with a single and a walk today, as well as a ground out, but Wesley will get the at-bat against the lefty.
So a couple of All-Stars taking early nights. It's a little hot out here. It's good to get your best players off their feet when you have a lead. It's only 5-0, but I mean, Wesley's been very hot. Wright has extended his on-base streak, and I don't mind this substitution.
1-1. Wesley takes in the dirt for ball 2. Michael Walsh has retired 6 in a row and 4 in a row, courtesy of the strikeout. Wesley trying to buck that trend and get the Big Train a 2-out base runner. 2-1. Takes just above the letters for ball 3. Wesley, a 2-hit day. The last time the Big Train played a game on the 7th against the Alexandria Aces. 3-1 from Walsh. Wesley takes upstairs. The pinch hitter draws a 2-out walk.
First base runner allowed by Walsh since the 4th, and he was moving the last few at-bats, but now has to deal with a little bit of trouble. We'll see if that phases him against the heart of this order.
The The lefty will have a favorable matchup against Skowronski. 2 walks on the day for Josh, as well as a looking strikeout. His first at bat against Walsh takes a front hip slider for strike 1.
Josh Skowronski is a special player, and I'm going to tell you why. He is the league leader right now in slugging. He also has 7 more walks than strikeouts, and those two things just do not go together. You almost never will see a guy with his home run pop, his extra base pop, also be able to put together really good, smart at-bats, to have the back control, to only have 12 strikeouts across 25 games, and up to 19 walks. Make it 13 strikeouts, including today, and 19 walks.
A 1 from Michael Walsh. Skowronski takes outside, and that's just so valuable if you have it as a power hitter. If you have that kind of plate patience and you make pitchers come in the zone to you, it just gives you more opportunities to punish the ball, and Skowronski has really been doing that as of late. 1-1 from Walsh, up and in, barely misses Skowronski's elbow.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been the tale of 2 seasons for Skowronski. His first 13 games were fine. He was hitting the ball pretty hard, but he had just 9 hits. In his last 12, coming into tonight, he has 20 hits and hits in 10 of the 12 games. So he has really flipped a switch after he got comfortable. It took him about 2 weeks or so, maybe 3 weeks, because you count all the rainouts to get really comfortable. But in the last couple games, really at this point, last 2.5 weeks, he has just solidified himself as one of the most dynamic hitters in this league.
3-1 on Josh. Wesley with a solid lead at first. Walsh comes to the plate. Skowronski high in the air, deep down the line and right. Gerwin's ranging back. He's out of room, and this ball is off the wall. Motoring around is Wesley. He gets the stop sign at third from Galvin Morris. Josh Skowronski feet away from his 4th home run, but he'll settle for a 2-out double.
And that's what we were talking about, Quincy. Working the count, smart takes, gets the count to 3-1, and then gets a pitch that he can do something with, inner part of the plate, upstairs, which is where he likes it, and just turns on it. 90 miles an hour off the bat, comes up, like you said, just feet short. 344 on the distance. If that gets to 350, that's a 2-run shot. Instead, it'll be up to Emilio Gonzalez to drive the 2 runs in against a new pitcher.
40 pitches out of the bullpen for Michael Walsh, and that will be it. Another lefty, or a righty, will be taking the mound. When we come back, we'll tell you about him next on the Big Train Baseball Network. Two runners in scoring position, 2 outs in the bottom half of the 6th. Southern Maryland will turn to a new pitcher. Bruce Wadiak, the junior out of LaSalle University, is charged with getting the 3rd out of the 6th and keeping this lead at 5. And he has probably the toughest task in the Cal Ripken League to get that 3rd out. It's Emilio Gonzalez at the plate.
Wadiak has struggled with the walk this year, 10 walks in 8 2/3 innings, and an 8.30 ERA to show for it.
He does have a base open against Gonzalez, but he spikes a fastball for ball 1.
A good underrated job by Gajan behind the plate again, getting a glove on that. He was framed up high and away, had to shoot his glove low and in, and that prevents a 6th run from scoring.
1-0. Wadiak into the windup, misses high. He does have a base open to put Gonzalez. Doesn't have to come over the heart of the plate, but the bases will be loaded for Panett. Even with this count being 2-0, I doubt Gonzalez sees anything too juicy to hit. That fastball misses high.
Yeah, each pitch has missed worse than the last.
Now, if you're Sal Colangelo, do you give Gonzalez a 3-0 green light here?
Always. I mean, Parker Corbin had a 3-0 green light in his at-bat. I think at this point in the season, everyone on the team has a green light to hit unless there's a specific situation.
Not a good pitch to hit for Gonzalez. It's a fastball in the dirt, a 4-pitch walk from Wadiak. The bases are now loaded for Panett.
Yeah, Panett batted with the bases loaded in the 4th and 2 outs, grounded out to the second baseman, Dawson Smale. See if he has better success this time against a righty, which, in a little bit of a strange twist of fate, he hits much better against right-handed pitching. By much, I mean near 400 compared to just 125 against lefties.
Wadiak pulls the fastball outside. 5 straight balls out of the bullpen for the junior right-hander. Wesley at 3rd, Skoronsky at 2nd, Gonzalez at 1st. Panett at the plate takes in the dirt.
Wadiak can't find the zone right now. He's thrown 6 pitches, all of them balls.
Pretty sure Southern Maryland wanted to keep Walsh out to finish this inning, but got up near 40 pitches and lost the control a little bit. But Wadiak all over the place out of the bullpen. Gets a strike call on the outer half.
A generous call, too.
Pretty decent frame there by Gajan. Making his first start of the year behind the plate. 2-1 from Wadiak. Misses inside to Panett. 3-1 the count.
Logan Panett, you have to be pretty selective here. This guy has not had control at all. You do not want to hand him a free strike when you can walk in a run.
Wadiak's 3-1. This is inside, but the ball is called a strike by our plate umpire. And Panett visibly frustrated up there.
Yeah, well, our TrackMan has that as inside.
That pitch missed. That is a generous call by our plate umpire. But the count now runs full. All 3 runners will have a head start. Payoff from Bruce Wadiak. Bounces in the dirt, so Panett will get his walk as Wesley crosses. It's 6-0 Big Train.
And no way to call that one a strike. It's just been tough going for the Senators pitchers today.
They've walked in 3 runs with the bases loaded.
Yeah, Walsh was the best of them, but he came in and walked in a run in a tough spot. Wadiak has come in and walked the first 2 hitters he's seen to score another one. Big Train are starting to put this one away.
Peyton Steele chases a fastball well above the zone for strike 1.
Obviously still need 3 more innings of good pitching, but with the way that the Senators have hit so far today and the fact that the Big Train continue to pile on, this is looking like it could be win number 11 in a row.
Panett was pretty far off the bag at first, but the first baseman Kraus not covering the bag Gajan thought about throwing a pick back, but nobody was home. 1-1 from Wadiak to Peyton Steele. High in the air, deep out towards left field. Going back is Treble. He's at the warning track, and he makes the catch. So the Big Train not able to cash in with the bases loaded, but they do push across a run in the inning as 4 straight men reach with 2 outs. It's 6-0 as we head to the 7th. James Beasley out for his 2nd inning of work as a member of the Big Train. A 1-2-3 inning in his 1st inning. And he will now face 5, 6, and 7 in the Southern Maryland order. Danny Surowick, Carter Groen, and MJ Phillips.
Now, Beasley was a starter at Princeton, so I imagine he is long for this game. Probably, brought in partially, even though added 2, his pitch count was relatively low, just 65. Brought in this situation because they want him to get multiple innings at a time in a low leverage spot for his first appearance. So this makes perfect sense. Imagine he's got 3, if not 4, in that arm.
Came into the game with a 5-0 lead, now pitches with a 6-0 lead after the bases loaded walk from Logan Panett in the bottom of the 6th. 1-1 on Danny Surowick. Beasley kicks and fires. Fouled straight back by Surowick, and the count is 1-2. The 6'7" right-hander peers in, nods, has the pitch he likes from Dylan Murphy. Big deep breath. Now the 1-2. Fastball misses outside. So barring disaster, the Big Train will move to 22-6 and 11 wins in a row. It's been very impressive what this team has done down the stretch of this season. 2-2 misses inside to Surowick. The count now runs full.
Yeah, I mean, they've just been off the charts on both sides of the ball. The offense has honestly been a little worse in their win streak than it was before, but the pitching has really sharpened up. The rotations come into focus. The back end of the bullpen is as sharp as ever, and the guys tasked with getting outs in the middle have been good.
Swing and a miss on the outside fastball. Surowick has a sad trip back to the dugout. James Beasley has retired 4 straight with 2 strikeouts. And the Big Train currently in the midst of a 10-game winning streak. That's their longest winning streak since 2019, when the squad reeled off 12 victories in a row. Here is Carter Groen. First pitch from Beasley. Popped up high in the air into shallow left. Skoronsky coming in, or it's Wesley out there now. Settles under and makes the catch. Wesley pinch hit for Brennan Wright, and it looks like they've moved him out to left.
I think that's actually Brett Ott out there.
Oh, yeah, it is.
So I think Wesley is still because Wright was the DH. So I think Wesley's DH, but Brett Ott replaces Skoronsky, so he will be the pinch hitter in this next time or he will hit for Skoronsky the next time that spot in the order comes up.
Big Train moving a lot of people around, getting a lot of people in and out today. 5 straight retired from Beasley as MJ Phillips steps in. Like we mentioned, the Big Train have already clinched a playoff spot, with Metro South County and Gaithersburg being well behind the pack, and because they have 21 wins in 27 games. But the focus now shifts to the division race. The only Crop Dusters sit 5 games back. Those two will play a doubleheader next week. Currently, the Crop Dusters game today against the Aces actually got canceled.
Notably, I mean, the Gaithersburg Giants are up 5-2 on the road at the Grays, and the T-Bolts are down big 9-2 against the Braves. So the Giants, who sit about 5 games behind the T-Bolts, or they will be 5 games back after their game that got suspended in the 9th yesterday, or on Tuesday goes final. But they are making things interesting, at least, for the final playoff spot. At one point, the T-Bolts sat a half game ahead of the Big Train. Since then, the T-Bolts have lost 8 in a row. The Big Train have won 10 in a row. Just 2 complete reversal of fortunes.
And the Thunderbolts and Giants played a game the day before the All-Star break. It was the only game being played that day. The Giants were up 12-10 in the bottom of the 9th, and the game got called due to darkness. So the next time those two play, they will resume that game and finish that inning. So should Gaithersburg hold on to that 2-run lead, they would gain one more game on the Thunderbolts. But Eliav, they only sit 6 games behind them right now. And if Gaithersburg can hold off for their win and Silver Spring fails to come back, it'll be 5 games. And then you take off that other win, that's now 4 games.
Suddenly you got a playoff race again.
Gaithersburg, if they win today, that'll be 3 in a row. And if Silver Spring loses, that would be 8 in a row in losses. And this is a team that was battling with the Big Train for the division lead a week and a half ago. They played twice at Shirley Povich, and the Big Train swept that doubleheader, but it was a 2-1 game and a 5-3 game. But since those 2 games, things have just gone off the rails, no pun intended, for Silver Spring.
Yeah, it's been just really unfortunate because they were one of the more fun teams to watch in the early going. Their pitching was so sharp, and their pitching has been fine, but it's not looking as good lately, and the hitting just has not come around. They are still the worst offensive team in the Cal Ripken League, and so suddenly what looked like a serious threat to the Big Train is now distant and out of mind of the division leaders and well within sight for the last place Giants.
And then if you pivot to the South Division, things are getting very hotly contested as we come down the stretch in there. 2-1 from Beasley to Gajan, misses outside. But the Alexandria Aces lead the division at 14-10. These Senators sit at 14-11, a half game back. And then the DC Grays are at 13-12, a game and a half back. That's a really big division race. Because, of course, the winner of the division gets a first-round bye in the playoffs, while the other two will play each other in a wild card game.
Well, and Alexandria is having a fantastic day. First, their game gets canceled against a red-hot only team that nobody wants to see right about now, and they can put that off until a doubleheader the next time those 2 teams met. Southern Maryland trails 6-0, and DC trails 5-2. So Aces have a chance to gain a half game on both of the teams chasing them and put off playing the red-hot Crop Dusters.
Yeah, should these scores stay how they are, it would be the Aces up 1 game on Southern Maryland and 2 games on the Grays.
Giants-Grays game is now 6-2.
Beasley, after retiring the first 5, has walked Phillips and Gagin. 2 on for the 9-hitter Dawson Smale. First pitch, fastball right down the middle. That Smale misses a little too late on that one.
Gagin quietly has had himself a really nice debut and is a nice late season find for Southern Maryland. Has reached in all 3 plate appearances, a single up the middle and a couple of good at-bats to work walks.
Smale takes high from Beasley. But the Big Train, the first team to clinch a playoff spot, and it looks like we have a pretty good idea of who those 6 teams will be, other than maybe Silver Spring and Gaithersburg, who are in the midst of a very interesting little trend to look at as the season progresses. South County also not completely out of it, but they're going to have to pull some wins together. They lost 3 straight and sit at 7-19. Swing and a miss by Smale. Count is 2-2. But the division winners do get the bye. Big Train look to be on their way to a division title. And then for second and third, it's a battle for home field advantage in that all-important 1-game wild card. 2-2 from Beasley to Smale. Swing and a miss, strike 3. No damage after the 2 walks for Beasley. We now stretch here from Shirley Povich, but our very own Jackson Corcoran also got a chance to catch up with Tim Kirkchen. We'll give you that interview right now.
I'm Jackson Corcoran here alongside Tim Kirkchen, absolutely legendary baseball reporter from the area here in Bethesda, Maryland. Went to Walter Johnson High School. For one thing, we're here at Shirley Povich Field. What does it mean to be at a field named somewhat unusually for a legendary journalist rather than baseball player or owner?
Yeah, I just love it. And I knew Shirley Povich, and I picked his brain many times. And he wrote beautifully until he was 90 years old. And I would ask him questions that only he could answer about Walter Johnson and Babe Ruth and all the amazing things that he saw. So there's something very, very special to be able to talk to somebody who was there during an era that I just wish I could have seen. But that is so cool that we have a ballpark named after a baseball writer.
Bruce Wadiak still on the mound for the Senators. He'll take on the bottom of the Big Train order, Martinez, Corbin, and Murphy. Martinez, a 2-hit day, 2 RBIs and a double. After being ejected his last time out, got the day off courtesy of a suspension. But he is back and out of the slump today, Elliot.
Yeah, I mean, he doubled down the third baseline and then a single the opposite way. He's doing what we've been waiting for him to do for a while, which is drive the ball with authority.
1-0. He drives this one with authority deep out towards left center field, but ranging back to make the catch is Tribble for the first out. Jackson would say I was a little bit of a Cubs fan on that fly ball. I get excited for deep fly balls. I can't help it. I'm sorry. Here's Corbin. 0 for 3 today. First pitch from Wadiak. Misses outside. We were talking about how great the Big Train have been in this stretch down the road in July. And there have been some other teams that have been playing well, but maybe falling behind the pace a little bit. But ultimately, it's a whole new season when the playoffs start. Eliav, if you had to pick one team right now that you think is the biggest threat to the Big Train's pursuit of 3 championships in a row, what team might that be?
Might be a little bit of a cop-out because they're in first place in the South, but the Aces, to me, are clearly the best team in the league that aren't the Big Train. I mean, they have pushed the Big Train to the wire a number of times. Big Train had to come back twice against the Aces, tied it at 4 in the 8th on Monday, and then tied it at 5 and walked it off at 6 in the 9th. The Aces pitch well, they hit well. They are liable at any point to pop a huge inning, which is an important thing to be able to do, and something that not a ton of the teams in this league can do with consistency. But the Aces are up there with the best. They might be the best team in the league, even better than the Big Train at the big inning. And if you're able to put together a 5, 6, 7 run inning, like the Aces have been able to do a number of times this season, that just increases your odds of winning by so much. Even if you're only scoring in that one inning, you can still win a game off just that. And on top of that, they are playing much better ball right now, 7-3 in their last 10, and compared to 7-10 before that. So, or 7-7 before that. So, to me, it's the Aces. But I'm curious if you have a different answer.
I do have a different answer as Murphy pops one high in the air to shallow right. Long run for Groen, but it's the second baseman Smale who was able to make the catch for the first out. I think it's Olney, and this is an Olney team that has been red hot as of late. They're 8-2 in their last 10. And this is a team that has played the Big Train, I think, very well. They have incredibly solid pitching, and they have a very nice top end of their lineup. They beat the Big Train 10-4, the second game of the year, and then every game since then has been within 3 runs. They've played the Big Train very well in all 4 games. They do have a doubleheader coming up. Off for second is Corbin. This ball gets away. Corbin didn't know it. He dives into second. He will be credited with a stolen base.
Yeah, but you could say the same about the Aces, although they lost the first game of the season series 15-3, which is obviously not ideal. But the recent games, since they have played a doubleheader where the Big Train won the first game 7-3, but then the Aces were able to rally back from down 6-2 to win 9-7. And then the Aces, like I mentioned, pushed the Big Train to the brink here on Monday. So the Big Train do own the season series 3-1, but the last 2 games in particular have really shown me just how dangerous the Aces can be.
Yeah, I really like the way Olney pitches. I think that's a really strong part of the game. And come playoff time, that's going to be very important. Peltier grounds it over to third, but just foul.
I don't know if you're watching Parker Corbin at second base, but he
had a big lead.
Yeah, he thought he timed up that secondary perfectly, but Wadiak held the ball, and Corbin went all the way back to the bag and wasn't really able to get a secondary.
Against the Grays on the 6th, Corbin was able to steal third by timing up Owen Basso's movement pretty well. Not a guy with great speed, but 3 for 3 on stolen bases this year, has yet to be caught. But getting back to Olney, that's a team that just always plays the Big Train well. The two will have a doubleheader coming up soon. On Wednesday the 16th, those two will play 2 games. They were supposed to play 2 days ago, but a monsoon came across the DMV, rained out that game and rained out the All-Star game. And the Crop Dusters not completely out of it for the division title. They're going to have to 1, probably sweep that doubleheader, and 2, hope the Big Train lose some other games. Crop Dusters off today after their game against Alexandria got canceled. Corbin once again bouncing. 3-1 to Peltier. Half swing. Appeal to first. A full swing, says our first base umpire. Peltier thought he had a walk.
Tossed the bat and everything. He's walked today, but he's also struck out 3 times. An uncharacteristically tough day at the plate for Peltier.
Count is full with 2 outs. Corbin sits on second. 6-0 Big Train in the bottom of the 7th. Wadiak set. Corbin once again bouncing. Kick and the fire. Misses high to Peltier. That'll bring Wesley back to the plate. Pinch hit for Brennan Wright in the 6th. Drew a walk, came around to score the only run of that inning.
Yeah, and his walk in the 6th means his on-base streak is now up to 18 games. He is hot on the tail of Brennan Wright.
Wesley on a line into left and through for a base hit. Tribble up with it. Stop sign at third for Corbin, and that was a great throw from Tribble. A wise decision to hold Corbin at third. But Wesley with a base hit. Reaches base twice after coming in mid-game.
Now we get Brett Ott for the first time today.
Ott pinch hitting for Skaronski. Pretty sure that Coach Sal Colangelo wants everyone to be fresh come playoff time and in the rhythm of things. So when he has the luxury to do so, getting everyone playing time is a good idea.
Yeah, and a stretch of games coming up. You got game at Alexandria tomorrow is a big one. And then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, games each of those days. They'll take on the Giants, the Braves, and the Grays. So a little bit of a light weekend with the Giants and the Braves coming in town. But there are 5 games in 5 days for the Big Train. So trying to keep guys off their feet as much as possible.
0-1 from Wadiak to Brett Ott. Misses outside.
That Aces game tomorrow does loom large.
Yeah, like you mentioned, Aces are a strong team. They've actually won the regular season title the last 2 years of the Cal Ripken League. The Big Train have gotten the better of them in the tournament, beating the Aces in the final in 2023. Last year, it was these Senators who beat the Aces with a losing record in the divisional series, snuck into the playoffs, and actually swept the Aces 2-0 before getting swept by the Big Train in the final. Since 2016, the Big Train have won every single Cal Ripken tournament that has been played, other than one.
Yeah, 7 for the last 8 championships have come home to Shirley Povich Field.
2-1. A called strike on the inner half against Ott. 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 4 in a row. No tournament in 2020 because of COVID. Won it in 2021. 2022, the Aces won it. And then 2023, 2024, back in Bethesda.
Aces also got the better of the Big Train last year's season series, taking them down 3-1.
2-2. Ott takes inside. Well, 2 years ago when the Big Train beat the Aces in the title, the Aces went 30-6 that year.
And the Big Train are on pace to do something similar. You look at, they sit already at 6 losses, but with the baseball they've been playing, it just doesn't feel like they're going to lose anytime soon. And obviously, every day is a new game of baseball, and they could certainly lose a couple games in a row.
3-2 to Ott. He takes high. That is the 4th run the Big Train have scored due to a bases-loaded walk.
But you watch the Big Train night in and night out, as I'm sure so many of you at home do, and it just feels like they have some magic about them, and they're able to get it done no matter the situation. Blowout wins. They can come from behind. They can now, early in the season, they struggled in close, low-scoring games, but they have dominated in that fashion recently. It's just been impressive to behold, and just it's tough for when a team can win in every sort of way for any opponent to get the better of them. And so far, the Big Train have lost 6 games to 6 different opponents. They have yet to be beaten twice by the same team, despite playing every team at least 3 times and some of them 4.
They've lost to every team at least once except for the Braves. Of course, 3 of those losses came in the first 4 games of the year before a lot of the Big Train players had arrived in Bethesda, still playing out the rest of their collegiate seasons. Peltier and Steele most notably.
Yeah, and you look at Connor Lehman, the starter. They've had some absences. It was also before the Big Train really solidified their rotation, and that's kind of been the key to me of this whole season was figuring out in the early going, head coach Sal Colangelo just didn't really have a sense of who his best pitchers were. Like Jake Titus, who has been the Big Train's least effective pitcher this year, was getting...
He was the opening day starter.
Yeah, he got opening day start. You look at a couple of the guys who have been some of the lower leverage arms pitched high leverage spots in the early going, and it took until about week 3 before Colangelo had really solidified this rotation of what is now Atatui, Bellis, Lehman, Peterson, and Deviney.
Yeah, the first, I would say, 2 weeks of the year, the Big Train are mostly going 3 inning, 3 inning, 3 inning, 3 inning from just whoever was next in line to throw that day. But now they have a nice rhythm of starters. The front 2, Atatui and Bellis, have been just terrific. Gonzalez takes upstairs on the 2-1.
And maybe 2 of the 3 best pitchers all season, them 2 and Josh Domaraki of the T-Bolts. I mean, Kide Atatui came into today with an 0.47 ERA through 5 more scoreless. He is dominating the league in ERA at this point.
Gonzalez fouls one back. And with 5 shutout innings today, Atatui's ERA now moves to .41.
It's crazy that it only drops by 6 percentage points. Or yeah, after
there's not much,
such a dominant showing,
there's
but
nowhere to go.
There's
nowhere to go.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go. He's allowing under a half a run per 9 innings.
Payoff to Gonzalez. He takes high. Another run has been walked in by Southern Maryland. And now Panett, should he get a hold of a ball and hit a grand slam, it would end the game due to the mercy rule. We will see a new arm coming out of the bullpen for Southern Maryland. We'll tell you about him when we come back on the Big Train Baseball Network. New pitcher for Southern Maryland, it's Alan Miller, a junior right-hander out of Shepherd College, hails from Mechanicsville, Maryland. He will deal to Logan Panett with the bases loaded and 2 outs. The run rule for a Mercy Rule victory is 12 runs after 7 innings. So if Panett puts a charge into one for a grand slam, the game will be over. He pops one high in the air behind first base. It's Krause who calls everyone off and makes the catch. 2 pitches and 1 out for Alan Miller. 8-0 Big Train as we head to the top of the 8th. We'll now give you the second half of Jackson's interview with Tim Kirkshin.
And something that happened to me the other day at Shirley Povich Field, I had an off day from broadcast. I was able to step down and sit in a chair, keep score, and just watch the game. And it sort of just made me realize all over again how beautiful this game is. I'd like to ask you, is there any moments like that you've had recently, just like, wow, this game really is something special?
Yes, I went to an Orioles game the other night, and I sat in the stands with a bunch of friends of mine, which I never get to do because I'm always in the press box. But there were other people in the stands who were from LA, there were people there from San Francisco, and I got to know all of these people. And we all kind of ended up in the same section, and we had the best time just talking about our shared love of baseball. This is why I still do what I do, is that every day I run into people, sometimes a lot of people, who love the game as much as I do, and that just warms my heart, and it makes me remember and realize that what I do for a living actually matters because people really care about this game.
Top of the 8th here from Shirley Povich. New pitcher on the mound is Tanner Kaler. 6 games for him, 2 starts. An ERA north of 6, 12 walks to 9 strikeouts. So we'll look to finish out these last 2 innings and get win number 22 for the Big Train alongside Eliab Brooks-Rubin. My name is Quincy Bell. Gibson Hurt producing the broadcast, doing a great job as always. Logan Tribble in to lead things off for Southern Maryland in the 8th.
It'll be Alex Martin pinch hitting for Adam Truck. Martin slides to left. Tribble moves over to center. Tanner Kaler, a little bit of a statistical oddity. Because of the resumed game against the Southern Maryland Senators that was played as part of a split doubleheader, Kaler has appeared against the Senators twice in 2 different games that happened on the same day.
Some pretty wild stuff. 2-0 on Tribble. Kaler fires, misses outside.
That being said, he only appeared once that day. His first appearance came as a start against the Senators. He did not come back out to resume that game. That was Russell Peterson, who worked 7 scoreless, but Kaler came on in relief in game 2 of the doubleheader.
3-0, catches the outer half for strike 1. The top 4 for the Senators, who we have talked at length about as Tribble takes inside. But of those top 4, only 1 hit in now 13 plate appearances, and only 1 walk as well.
And Truck will
Radio
bat no longer.
silent.
Yeah, and 2 of those guys now out of the lineup. Both Truck and Flores sit. So a really good job by the Big Train pitching staff to shut down the All-Stars in this lineup, and with it, the rest of the order as well.
Kaler fires. Popped up high in the air off the bat of Alex Martin. Peltier calls everybody off and makes the catch for the first out. Southern Maryland opting to also keep their guys fresh, using a lot of pinch hitters.
Cale Vinson, the hitter this time. He appeared as a pinch hitter on Monday as well. That was a game the Sens lost 14-1. He went 0 for 2 in that game, got extended run at the plate, walked and scored.
Kaler set, pick off to first. Back is Tribble.
Not quite as an elite of a lefty move as we saw earlier from Atatui, who had that hesitation down pat.
1-0. Grounded over to second. This could be two. Corbin to Martinez to Gonzalez. Double play. Inning is over. The big train firing on all cylinders as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Still 8-0.
Just like you being from the area, speak to the baseball culture of this place. I mean, you went to Walter Johnson High School. How many high schools are named after a baseball legend? You have people like Pint Israel from around the area that have really made this such a baseball hub nationally. If you could speak to that a little more.
Yeah, well, I'm very, very proud, and I think there's destiny involved that I went to a high school named after the greatest pitcher of all time, and somehow I made a career out of baseball. And Walter Johnson, by the way, died on December 10th, 1946. And I was born on December 10th, 1956. 10 years to the day after the greatest pitcher of all time died. That was the day I was born. Went to Walter Johnson, and this whole area was so rich with baseball when I was growing up. This field right here used to house the Industrial League, where all the big guys came and played. College players, former pro players, all played on this field. This is where I learned how to play the game. Watching those guys play, and then eventually I got to play on that field. It was such a thrill for me.
Nothing in the 8th. Steele, Martinez, and Corbin do up for the big train. They hit against Alan Miller, who needed 2 pitches to record 1 out and get out of the 7th. Ground ball up the middle. Fielded and thrown on to first just in time to get Steele and Eliab. That might be a little bit of a 8-0 8th inning call from our first base umpire.
Yeah, I don't mind that call. A bang-bang play. Could have gone either way. Peyton Steele not happy, but it's late tonight kind of call. Cale Vinson in at short for Nick Flores makes a nice play on his first opportunity.
Cale Vinson takes over at shortstop, and Alex Martin takes over duties in center for Truck.
I think Martin's in left and Tribble moved to center. That's what I'm seeing with my eyes.
All right, let's go with that.
Tough to read numbers. They're 1 and 11. Tribble wears 1. Martin wears 11, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going on out there.
I won't argue with you.
Yeah, it looks like 11 out in left field. Tough to see on the screen, but I got my contacts in today. So
1-1 to Martinez, grounded over to second. Smale on a backhand. Double clutches the throw to first. In time again to get Martinez.
Yeah, a couple of bang-bang plays and a couple of calls I don't mind.
So 2 quickly down as Corbin comes to the plate.
I was going to say, I may not be the most trustworthy source on it. I did this morning put my contacts in the wrong eyes, and it took me a couple minutes of walking around feeling like I was slightly concussed before I realized what the issue was.
I'm scared of contacts. I can't touch my eye, so I just wear glasses all the time.
That was me until junior year of high school, and then I got sick of wearing glasses and playing sports and decided to commit to the contacts. And I've learned. It took me a while. The first time I tried to put contacts in, it took me about a half hour in a bathroom of a GW building on my way to basketball practice. And I was late to practice because of it.
I don't know if you guys have seen the episode of Friends where Rachel has to get eye drops in her eyes.
I have not.
Well, there's an episode where she has to get eye drops in her eyes, but she, like me, cannot touch her eye. She always closes it or turns, and she's like, it freaks her out when people touch her eye. So everyone has to, like, pin her to the ground to get her eye drops in so she cannot move her head. And that is me when I tried to put contacts in for the first time. I was just like poking around my eye because I was so scared to actually open it and touch it. And so, the eye doctor who gave them to me was like, dude, you actually have to like open your eye to put the contact in. And I had heard enough. I was so frustrated. I said, I don't want to ever deal with putting contacts in again. I'll just stick to wearing glasses.
Yeah.
So I never wear contacts. Corbin swings and misses at a 3-1.
For what it's worth, I had the same issue for a long time and then slowly got better at it.
I still can't.
I stay comfortable, and now I'm only contacts. I haven't worn my glasses intentionally for a full day in a long time.
3-2, swing and a miss by Corbin. 1, 2, 3, go the big train in the 8th. 3 outs away they are from win number 22. James Gladden out of the bullpen to handle the 9th inning. He has an 8-run cushion to work with. The numbers for him have been great. 7 appearances, all out of the bullpen. A 1.80 ERA. Has struggled with walks a little bit, but has still been great. A .033 opponent average, Eliav. He's been magnificent out of the pen. You almost wonder why you use him in a game with an 8-run lead.
Yeah, just the one hit allowed that came in his most recent outing. An outing he gave up an earned run, just his second earned run of the year allowed on Monday against the Aces, a game where he ended up picking up the win, although I think it went in the book as a Michael Madigan win. But yeah, I'm a little curious as to this decision. It is Matt Swope bobblehead night. His head coach at Maryland, Swope, in attendance here. Maybe getting to pitch for that reason. And Parker Corbin in the lineup as well, a Maryland product. But it is a little curious to me. This has been one of your 2 high leverage guys, him and Owen Stewart are the two guys on the team with multiple saves. So it is not certainly the most intuitive decision, I think, to go to Gladden in this situation.
Steven Krause had a hit in the second, a walk in the fourth, and a fly out in the sixth. The Big Train only have one shutout win, a 3-0 win against the DC Grays on the back half of a doubleheader. That was only 7 innings. This could be their first full game shutout. And Southern Maryland, the Senators, only once this game have they had a runner even reach second base.
Yeah,
and that was with 2 outs in the 7th.
It has been a masterclass in pitching. The Big Train have allowed 2 hits, both allowed by Atatui. The bullpen has been magnificent. Just 3 base runners allowed, all on walks. And 2 of them with 2 outs in the 7th by Beasley, and Kaler's lone walk erased via double play. So it's been a pitching masterclass for the Big Train. And now they bring on one of their best arms to get the final 3 outs and hopefully preserve the shutout.
1-2, Krause goes fishing at an inside slider. Gladden continuing to fire. Not a save opportunity for Gladden, but he does have 2 of those on the year.
And he'll get to face yet another pinch hitter, Calvin Cook, to bat for Danny Surwick. Cook on the season is hitting .088 across 18 games. The OPS is sub 400. A triple is the only extra base hit, and he has struck out 12 times and made 6 errors. It has been a struggle for the freshman from Annapolis.
Gladden, the redshirt sophomore out of Baltimore, misses outside.
Cook, a Middle Tennessee State product. Do you have that one in your bag?
Yeah, Blue Raiders.
Yeah, okay.
My uncle went to Western Kentucky, go Hilltoppers.
So that's a big rivalry.
They have a big
rivalry.
100 miles of hate is what that rivalry is called. 2-0. Misses way inside and hits Cook in the ankle. Gladden just yanked that fastball way down and in.
That was a strange pitch. That was Calvin Cook was trying to get out of the way, so he kicked his feet back. Unfortunately, James Gladden's pitch just kept running inside and actually hit the foot as it was on its way back. So a little bit of a weird situation where I think if Cook had stayed still, that ball goes behind him and doesn't hit him.
The only really complaint with James Gladden so far this year has been a few walks, and when he's wild, he tends to miss pretty far out of the zone. But great stuff. So many strikeouts and just the 1 hit allowed.
And when you're not allowing hard hit baseballs, you can get away with some walks, and that he's done this season. Gladden has walked 11 batters across 10 1/3. That's not counting the hit by pitches, which he has multiple, but because of just the 1 hit, it's 4 runs and just 2 of them earned on his ledger.
Slider over the plate for strike 2. Cook at first, 1 out. 0-2 count on Carter Groen. 0 for 3 today. Gladden set. 0-2. Slider misses outside. Big Train looking for their 11th win in a row and their 14th win of their last 15 games. Bouncing off of first is Cook. Popped high in the air behind the plate. Murphy to the backstop looking for room, and that ball hits off the top of the netting. Just not enough room for Murphy to make a play on that ball.
Yeah, rarely do you see a ball bounce off the true top of the netting. That one hit right on the wire and kicked up in the air.
Still 1-2. 1 strikeout in the inning for Gladden, looking for a second. The delivery chopped foul. Gladden took a bit of a tumble on the mound, but looks to be just fine. Still 1-2. Just 12 pitches so far for Gladden. 1-2. Misses high.
T-Bolts have clawed back into their game with the Braves. They now trail just 10-7. Still 2 innings and change to play in that one. They have given themselves a fighting chance. Gaithersburg just secured their victory, stranded the bases loaded for a 3-run win.
Runner off for second. The ball gets away from Murphy. So Cook has a stolen base.
So if the Braves can hold off the T-Bolts, the Giants will climb within 5 games of the T-Bolts.
I'm telling you, those are 2 teams that had polar opposite starts to the year, but Gaithersburg, for as bad of a season that they've had, this is now their 3rd in a row. Swing and a miss, strike 3, runner down to 3rd. Cook gets there, but there's 2 away.
That, to me, Quincy, looked like a defense that was so indifferent to Calvin Cook.
I don't know. Murphy kind of thought about a throw. Like, he popped up and looked like he wanted to fire.
He considered it, but
I think that's enough to maybe give him a stolen base there.
I think they'll give stolen bases either way. I haven't seen them issue a defensive indifference, so I don't think it'll change the ruling either way, but feels like a situation, both of those really, where defensive difference could be called. But 2 stolen bases on the ledger for Calvin Cook.
And that's the farthest a Southern Maryland base runner has reached today. We mentioned they haven't gotten a runner past second.
And now Dylan Murphy has to secure that ball if he wants to preserve the shutout, which doesn't really mean anything, but is certainly a nice thing to have happen and deserving after the game this Big Train staff has put together.
1-1, Gladden set. Kicks and fires. Strike 2 at the letters. Big Train fans, the few that are still around today, starting to make some noise. Gladden 1 strike away from striking out the side in the 9th. 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He blows a fastball by M.J. Phillips. 3 swinging strikeouts for James Gladden in the 9th. The Big Train have now won 11 in a row. They move to 22-6. Blow the whistle and sound the horn. That's a Big Train winner.
Yeah, their best pitching performance of the season. Just 2 hits allowed. They walked just 6 base runners, including the hit by pitch. And only the man in the 9th even advanced to 3rd base. A dominant showing. The offense was fine. They stranded the bases loaded in 3 separate innings. Certainly room to improve there, but the Southern Maryland Senators could not throw strikes, and the Big Train were patient at the plate, but really it was the 3 innings in the 2nd were all they ended up needing because the pitching was so dynamic tonight.
No runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 6 runners left on for the Senators. 8 runs on 9 hits, 1 error, and 12 runners left on for the Big Train. This game took 2 hours and 53 minutes to conclude. The Big Train 22-6. They are now 5.5 games ahead of the only crop dusters with just 12 games left to play. For Eliab Brooks Rubin, for Gibson Hurd, our producer, for Tim Kirkshin, who joined us for 1 inning of this game. That was a lot of fun for sure. My name is Quincy Bell. Make sure you guys enjoy the rest of your night and come back tomorrow when the Big Train play Alexandria on the road. It'll be myself and Eliav again for that call. Have a great night, everybody.
This.